does he know about the DO, Ari? Huh? The door?
SCP-6448, the Not Deer. If you grew up in my generation, you're probably familiar with the concept of deer being weird. It's likely that traumatic association that made SCP-6448 stand out to me. I knew I wanted to attempt my own interpretation of this monster. So, come along with me while I paint a scene befitting the Not Deer. And for those of you who don't know, I'll share a little bit about the SCP's lore and then talk about my artistic process. I hope you enjoy. SCP-6448 are described as deer exhibiting anomalous traits in and around the Appalachian area. Nothing new. These creatures are described as intelligent and presumably sapient, with many of them possessing some kind of physical malformation distinguishing them from their fellow normal deer. But just like the SpongeBob popsicles at your local grocery store, they still try their best to fit in. It's said that exact details of physical abnormalities differ from deer to deer, but there are some repeat commonalities, some of which I tried to portray today in my illustration. They are as follows: legs bent backwards, a barrel chest/bloated abdomen, emaciation, eyes belonging to unrelated animals, forward-facing eyes, and many more. The creepiest thing about this SCP is not only its appearance. Its behavior is arguably far more concerning. Instances have been recorded of the SCP observing, stalking, and pursuing humans for up to days at a time. This included following people to their homes, breaking in, and stealing their belongings, weapons, and food. Can you imagine waking up to a deer standing on its hind legs and rummaging through your fridge, stealing your food? I don't know about you, but I don't need any extra help clearing out my fridge. The SCP Wiki provides a few recorded civilian encounters, a few of which I'll summarize now so you can get an idea with what you're dealing with. One victim calls 911 regarding a home break-in. Upon investigation, authorities review the CCTV and see a deer on its hind legs reaching for the camera. Its frontal hooves have been warped to resemble fingers. 2 hours of footage are missing from the recording from this point on, and several household objects have been stolen. Another victim, a junior wildlife officer at Cherokee Nation Forest, Tennessee, radios their supervisor in regards to a herd of white-tailed deer. There is a single animal that appears normal at first glance, but upon further viewing, abnormalities including backwards joints, enlarged abdomen, and forward-facing eyes become apparent. Through the audio of the radio, a whistle is heard to have emitted from the unusual deer, before the sound of hooves approach rapidly. They do not sound like the traditional gallop of a deer. There's more I could get into, including the SCP's ability to mimic voices and attempt to convince victims to let them inside their homes, but it's about time I got into my art process. I encourage any viewers to seek out more information about this SCP on the wiki, which I'll link in the description below. It's a pretty short webpage with a lot of vague descriptions, but that's what makes it great for artistic interpretation. I'll first talk a little bit about what you've seen up until this point. To start this project, I found some reference images from the web that fitted the environment and lighting I felt fit best for the subject. I sketched everything out on paper first, and then brought it into Photoshop. Most of my scenic paintings begin with either a rough grayscale paint over to get values and composition established, or the same kind of process in color if I'm feeling all sure of myself. For this piece specifically, I felt it was important to accomplish the look of flash photography at night, and ultimately decided sticking with grayscale suited the subject more than any color would. And for those of you interested, I mostly used the default hard round pressure brush for the majority of the painting. On the trees I did use a dry gouache brush to add some texture, which I'll link below. You'll notice the trees are all leaning into the center of the composition. This helps direct the eye away from the outer edges and to our most important detail, our freaky creature. When thinking about the actual design of SCP-6448, I wanted to make the strangeness a little more subtle than what's already been depicted in media. I think it's a lot creepier when you notice something is off after the double take. At least, this is what I planned initially. You'll see I kinda go off the rails later. At the point I started working on the face, I started getting really nervous about the future of my artistic career. For some reason, it seemed impossible to successfully render a creepy face for my fictional deer. It was about to be my downfall. But I think I pulled through in the end. Unfortunately though, you'll see many eye iterations before we reach the final design. I almost stuck with this eye version. I think he's kind of cute like this, but that was not the goal. You should feel very uneasy and frankly disturbed. I broke free of my obsession momentarily to get working on the actual body, but believe me when I say I was definitely stewing over that face the whole time. Keeping in mind this description given by the SCP Wiki, I wanted to give him an emaciated yet bloated kind of look. To accomplish this, I worked to define the skeletal system and the muscular bits a bit more, since lack of fat makes animals and people look icky and sinewy, and kept his abdomen on the larger side. Truly, the enlarged abdomen bit of the description really stumped me, and I wasn't able to find any other artworks that addressed this part of the description, but I tried to deliver as accurately as I could. At this point, I'm trying some different expressions to up the creep factor. Little open mouth wasn't doing it for me, so I extended it a little bit and attempted a slack-jawed look. I ruined it right here though. I accidentally introduced a jolly attitude to our woodland abomination. Don't worry, I revert it later. Don't ask me what I was doing here. I was getting very desperate, okay? This little spin did not give me any revelations though. Is that scary? This became my second best option for the eyes, but it reminds me of something though. Yeah, I got rid of it. At this point, I knew right away we were finally getting somewhere. If it's not apparent right away, the eyes are now pretty similar to this creature. Yes, it's entirely unrelated to the deer, but I think that's what makes it creepy. Extending the eye sockets outward to further emphasize the front-facing gaze really added to the unusual look, and it only gets weirder from here. You may be asking, what happened to the subtle plan? And all I have to say to you is I don't know. Things happen. I kept coming back to the wiki discussing SCP-6448's ability to seemingly warp its existing appendages into other body parts. Though the hands are not exactly hoof-like, it most definitely upped the weirdness. They get tweaked further in the final painting, which you'll see later. And if you think about it, how else would he be able to get into your house and steal your prized possessions? You'll see I also added a second set of antlers. This is not a detail that you would normally notice right away, but if you happen to look a few seconds longer, you'll notice that something is very off. Here, I'm spending some more time on the foremost foliage. It's not super important to render them to be super crispy. The deer are the most important part of my composition, so I wanted the eye to be immediately drawn there first. As for color in this piece, I did test some things out off camera, but ultimately decided to keep it in grayscale. I think it suits the flash photo lighting of the piece. You can almost imagine this is a still from trail cam footage. Things are finishing up now, so I'll let you enjoy the final reveal. If you liked my video and want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. I'm enjoying creating this SCP content so far, so let me know if you like this kind of format in the comments, and I'll be sure to put another out soon. I have some other cool projects in mind too, so I'd love if you stuck around. Bye!